AITA for telling my parents I can't wait to move out. Hi everyone. For as long as I can remember, I've been the child my parents expect the most from yet give the least to. An example is I'm a medical school applicant, I went to the cheapest state school, and I'm a paid intern at a cardiologist's office. I have yet to hear my parents congratulate me or even say they're proud of me. My older sister went to the most expensive school for undergrad and the most expensive nursing school. In total her tuition costed about $500K. To add, they got her a gift when she applied to undergraduate schools, when she got in, when she graduated, when she got into nursing school, when she graduated, and when she passed her NCLEX. I have yet to receive anything, even an affirmation statement. Thankfully I can say my family is comfortable financially, but I do my best to avoid any additional costs for them, hence the cheapest schools possible. On to the issue, they expect me to watch after our dog and my sister's kid every waking moment of the day. I haven't had any time to myself because of this. I have plans? Nope, can't have them, gotta stay home and watch the dog so my parents can go out. Wanna watch a movie? Nope, can't, my sister needs me to go do her laundry. And if I say no it turns into an issue. There's so many examples of this, but my cup overflowed when I was studying for the MCAT and they did not give me even enough respect to leave me alone to study. I was constantly watching after my dog, catering to them and their guests, and taking care of my then pregnant sister, as if she doesn't have a husband. I ended up having to retake. Today in the car my mom asked if I'd move out if I get into an out-of-state school, and I said in a heartbeat. She was visibly upset and asked why in a pretty angry manner. I mentioned all of the above reasons and then added, if I stay here you guys will be the reason I fail academically. My whole family isn't talking to me now. AITA? I know I need privacy and a stress-free study space for when I'm studying to become a doctor, but seeing how upset my mom got made me feel bad, so I don't know. Edit to add, a few of you mentioned moving in with someone. I responded with how my grandparents have offered for me to move in with them but how that resulted, in the comments. Additionally, I pay for everything of mine, the only thing I don't pay for is a roof over my head, which I am thankful for. Someone mentioned confusion with my thankful portion of my parents being comfortable. Yes, they are comfortable enough, but that doesn't mean they cover my expenses. And whatever they have covered, I have eventually paid them back. Another thing to add is I've mentioned in a comment, a while back they mentioned they would help with medical school tuition. But as I also said in that comment, I don't know how likely that situation will be. I'll try to update if anything else occurs. I'm hopeful me saying this to them today would maybe make them rethink how they've been towards me. Slight update. My mom came into my room today and told me her and my dad want to set up a family meeting tonight with my sister. I told them only if my uncle and aunt can be there too. If this happens I'll let y'all know. Relevant comments. I just feel really unappreciated. A simple "I'm proud of you" is literally more than any monetary gift for me at this point. My entire extended family sees clear divide in treatment and treats me how I wish my parents treated me. When my uncle found out I applied to medical schools, he sent me flowers and sent me the cutest message describing his appreciation for me and all I do for his kids and myself. The only main thing I'm dependent on from them is a roof. I pay for everything of mine, car, insurances, and other extra stuff. My dad specifically said, "Who's going to watch the dog? Don't move out, it'll be so hard to figure it out." When I mentioned applying to out-of-state schools, I've been seeing a therapist for many years now. My grandparents and uncle and aunt know everything, that's why I asked for them to come tonight too. Just not my grandparents, their health is too fragile. My mail goes to my grandparents. They haven't looked through my phone in the last 3 years, so I don't really worry about that. And I'm dead set on leaving this house, no amount of their tears are going to hold me back. Can OP just stop helping with the dog and sis? I currently live with them and don't have the means as of yet to move out. If I refuse it becomes a major issue involving major arguments, them threatening to cut me off, which I can't afford right now at all. Whatever I've saved from my current job wouldn't be enough, but by the time I get in and actually need to move I'd have enough. Hope this makes sense. Any other extended family? My grandparents are absolute angels and have always offered me to stay with them. I've taken the offer many times, but I just feel too much of a burden on them. I don't want them to have any negative energy or conflict around them. So this was the case the multiple times I moved in with them. I helped contribute in many ways, especially physically and financially. What would usually happen during this time was I'd move in with them, endless calls would start not only to me but also their home phone. But when I wouldn't respond they would show up and a huge argument/fight would occur. I absolutely love my grandparents and all they've done and continue to do, but they're at an age where I really don't want to put this energy and conflict around them. One of the times my grandpa ended up having a panic attack during the argument and I rushed him to the emergency because he had exact symptoms of a heart attack. I just need to ride this out till I get in somewhere unless I can somehow someway move out sooner. About undergrad and the dog. I got into 2 private schools and I opted to go to the state school so it would be less costly. I guess I should have mentioned this because they paid for my sister's entire schooling. When I decided on the cheaper school, the only financial assistance I asked from them was paying for my books, which eventually I was able to find free PDF versions, and the insurance plan that the school provided. This was an automatic added expense onto the tuition which I wasn't able to get out of for 2 semesters, which I eventually got out of due to COVID. The main reason I mentioned my gratefulness is because they had told me a while ago they would help me in paying for medical school, but after today I'd where that stands. Definitely not wanting attention, just to know if I was wrong in saying that I'd move out. The state school was for undergrad just to try to get the cheapest option available. And the situation with my dog is she has these coughing fits which result in her throwing up and then asphyxiating. She's been in the hospital multiple times because of damaged lungs. So watching the dog is a bit more complex. By all means, if she was an easy dog to watch after, I don't even think I would have made this post. Honestly, if it was just my pupper that I needed to watch, I wouldn't care at all. I wouldn't have even made the post. It's all the extra stuff, aka the sister's chores, the household chores, the constant catering. I love her and it'll kill me to have to move away from her, but it's about time my parents and sister realize how difficult it is to watch after a dog that's pretty medically demanding. OP is voted NTA. Update post, 15 hours later, still January 5, 2023. Hey everyone, I have an update for you all. Thank you to those who have given their advice, wisdom, and kind words. Thank you to those for their concern for my well-being, it means a lot. After this morning when my mom came in to tell me about the meeting, I called my been together for 6 years now, who ended up seeing this post. He said he wishes he can take me out of this situation sooner. His parents depend on him in many ways, medically and financially. But he promised me the second I get into any school that him and I would start apartment hunting so we'd live together. In that moment I couldn't stop crying from how happy I felt. He doesn't want me moving out on my own because he has before, and he knows how demanding it could be, especially since I'll be in school and won't have the opportunity to work as often as I do now. So if he could contribute in any way to lessen my load, he said he would. I then called my uncle and we spoke for a bit. Mostly him reassuring me and comforting me while I cried. He said he'd definitely come, and he did. Someone mentioned him being a great person. You're going to love him even more. So when they all arrived, we all sat in my living room and my dad started the conversation with, "Why do you feel the need to move out in a heartbeat?" My uncle then instantly pretty much exploded on him, telling both my mom and my dad how horrible they've treated me over the years, how unfair they've been, and the lack of reassurance they've given to me. My aunt happens to be a licensed therapist, contributed to the conversation and explained how mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive they've been towards me. This entire time my parents did not utter a single word, just my mom crying. My sister, however, she got the worst of it. She decided it would have been smart to say, "Why don't you ask for stuff?" And my then mentioned how I've asked for them to tell me they're proud rather than lecturing or telling me I can always do better, and they still don't. I then added after this how I watch after their kid, to their chores and housework, and how her husband doesn't contribute in any way. My parents and his parents financially support them. My uncle laughed at her. I kinda felt bad because she started crying, because of how irresponsible they are at their ages, 28F and 29M. After this my uncle, bless his heart, he was in tears at this point, told them if he could have seen the future when I was born he would have found a way to take me in as his own. Moreover, I want to try to keep this short just so it's not too long to read. My parents ended up having their butts handed to them by my aunt, uncle, and myself. They later finally came to the understanding that they had been shitty. Per my dad's words, I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until now. My mom just kept crying and saying she's sorry, and how she didn't realize that she began acting towards me the way her parents were with her, not the generational trauma. The end of this conversation was my telling them whether they liked it or not I will be moving out eventually and there is nothing they can do about it. I need to have my space, not only for studying but for my healing journey. They agreed that this might be the best as it could lead to a better relationship. Additionally, my aunt suggested group therapy, which they also agreed to. Personally, I see this as a good outcome from what I'm used to. There's usually more yelling and back and forth arguing. I'm hoping I'm not being naive in thinking they understood, but after my uncle and aunt left, my dad came into my room with tears too and just kept saying sorry. I've been emotionally distraught and mentally exhausted over this last day. If I can forgive, because I definitely can't forget, but that's something I can come to grow peace with. This feels like such a bittersweet resolution. Thank you all for all of your kind words and advice. I really didn't think this would get this much traction. I had posted at a late hour hoping it wouldn't because I didn't want anyone to find it. But again, my eternal thanks, and I hope you all have a blessed, successful, and happy year to come. Comments. Honestly, I really didn't think they'd ever apologize. Or even admit to their faults. I just think them hearing it from my uncle, and so made them really aware of how visible their unfairness had been. Someone is concerned it's an act or they'll go back to the way they were. This is what I'm worried for too. It seems very half and half. Either our relationship will grow better or bitter after I leave. I think I'll post a small update if their behavior truly changes. After the meeting alone, I needed to leave my house, and I'm currently sleeping over at my SO's house. They haven't called once. They didn't make it an issue that I wouldn't be watching the dog either, which was surprising. And here's are the top comments from our Reddit folks. From Chainer1216, it won't last, soon it'll be. We admit we abused you for years, but we said sorry a month ago. Get over it already, you're being selfish. Another one is from me_hungry_send_food. We gonna have to expect at least another update or two. No way the sister or her husband are gonna want to deal with no more free childcare. And from Alsan, I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until now. So they knew it was bad but not bad enough to get called out on it? I don't expect them to change until Op moves out. And here's from Newstead, but, per my dad's words, I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until now. Bullshit. He just hoped no one had noticed and didn't call him out on it. Mom and sister can go straddle a cactus together with their assholery. And lastly is from Gargoy131, so glad for OP for having some amazing people in their corner and supporting them. The parents have blinders on them and needed a reality check. Though I doubt it will last long. All hope for OP to a better future. And that's it for today, folks. See you on our next one.